Okay, it seems I'm live. I hope people understand well, hear well, and see well. I was not supposed to go live. Je ne devais pas être en direct, mais faire une vidéo. I was supposed to do a video, but as time is running out and I had several things to do yesterday, so I prefer to go live, even if I will change a few things, probably text-wise, presentation-wise, in the description. Today it's a very special day for me. November is also my birthday month, so quite a weird coincidence here. What happened is that this Saturday, so we're Sunday here in Paris, France. So this Saturday, I did have a bottle sample to assess, to give my final approval for a release for which I've been involved in. So I will put this in commercial category, even if I'm not paid except with a few bottles and my name on the label. But it still is something for which I might be biased, of course. What is going on there? Again, for those who don't know me, I'm Grégoire Saint-Ouen from Greg's Whiskey Guide website. Currently a bit mothballed. That's why I added an account in Instagram, Greg's Whiskey Guide, in one word. And so my website's a bit now slowed down, so yeah, I'm more communicating about whiskeys and other spirits, but mainly whiskeys, in my YouTube channel and on social media. You'll find every detail here. So basically Twitter, LinkedIn, and now Instagram. I am... Hi! Good to see you, my friend from Sweden. Yeah, and bon appetit. I was supposed to eat as well, and I saw also Ken is going to be live, Scotch Down Under. I'm sorry, guys. It's because I was not sure the video could be uploaded this week, and I wanted to share this thing with you. So what's going on? I am an employee. I have a full-time job, but on the side, I had several passions. One that lasted a long time, still in, but I don't know when I will be able to resume. It's painting. I've been painting for almost 30 years and exhibited in different countries, mainly France and the United States. I had to slow down after some health issues, my production, and also a lot of stock to keep. Sales were not what I expected, so I did a bit, put a step backward. Hi, go Habs. But for what interests you more here, it's been since around 1998, so more than 20 years, I'm interested in whiskey. First, it was just a wee hobby. Then, to put a long story short, first, I will give you links to my resume about whiskey that's on my website, so people who don't know me at all or just a bit will understand more what led me to today present you a creation of mine as a consultant blender. So what's going on here is that basically I started to be not very much, but an uneducated, interested in whiskey in 1998, let's say early 2000. Then I won a trip to Scotland to a Glenmorangie distillery, and that's where this passion really began. After this trip, I was blown away by the landscape, as I always say, the people and the whiskey. And I got to be more involved in learning about whiskey, buying books about whiskey. not many whiskies at that time, just some. And I've been meeting some friends here and also doing some master classes tastings until around 2004-5. I attended my first whiskey shows. Hope this intro won't be too long. And during these whiskey shows in 2006, I met John Glazer from Compass Box, which is for me which was for me a big milestone and a big meeting. And as I was an artist, I'm still I'm a painter artist. I was pretty much impressed by John's approach of whiskey, of blending and of packaging. So it's a whole thing, not only whiskey. We had some discussion, and in fact, I met him a year before. But I was so impressed that I did create something myself, a little sample that I offered him in 2006 in Whisky Life Paris. And believe me or not, he was impressed and interested in the way I was coming across about whiskey and his whiskies, of course. So he did invite me in 2007 for a kind of first dive into blending, let's say. Not really a training course, but dive into blending. And we had a lot of discussions almost all day, and then kind of friendship started, and we dialogued, and from now and then I gave him samples of what I created, home blends after my own collection, and he was giving me advices. I also made other professionals try it. Fred Lang, Richard Patterson, to name a few. And also I was picked by a famous bartender here to join him to do a contest to recreate a kind of wee version of Chivas Regal 12, doing a contest. I've been also in 2005 in another tasting contest where I was 12 out of 650 people. So we'll find all this. I'm sorry for this introduction. And to put a long story short about what's going on there, I visited the distillery we're going to speak about today. And yes, here is the whiskey I created, by the way. I visited the NORTHMAEN, which is often called La Chapelle NORTHMAEN Distillery, because it's a farm brewery distillery. You can also see it there in a tube that's only mine. My creation doesn't exist. Because I need closed packaging, so I did create myself. So this farm brewery distillery, and I'm doing this video in English, but if there are questions in French, I will, of course, answer, and I will do something special in French later on. Donc, petite parenthèse, voilà, donc j'ai créé, après 70 assemblages maison amateur, j'ai créé professionnellement ce whisky cette année, de la ferme brasserie-distillery NORTHMAEN, à partir de 5 fûts. J'en reparlerai un peu plus tard dans le direct, et je ferai une vidéo ou une interview spécifique là-dessus. Yes, I will be interviewed very soon about this, so in French, so I am more here relying on English. Apologies for the French audience, désolé. Mais si vous êtes là en direct, vous avez des questions, et même après la vidéo, j'essaierai d'y répondre dans les commentaires. So what I did is visit the distillery in 2019. This is a farm, let's take it in English. This is a farm brewery distillery located in Normandy. Let me show it. It is here. It's some way up north, near the town of Rouen. So one of the now almost 82 distilleries here, and more than 40 in activity. This is around 40 kilometers to the city of Rouen. This is the middle of nowhere, I have to say. I don't drive, so they have to pick me on the train at the town of Rouen. So yeah, this is a farm brewery distillery. This is mainly a brewery. They do only 2 distillations per year, and they do around 35 casks per year only. This is really craft thing, and this is, as you can see, a little. This is bottled by hand. Everything is made on site. This is French oak. This is French yeast. This is French. Only for the only thing that's not French is the hop for the beers they made. It's Belgian. Otherwise, all the content for the whiskey are French. This was the farm brewery was founded in 1997 in an old stable, doing 700 liters per year, and then now up to 400,000 liters per year. This is a 1,500 square meters big building, as you saw it now. And in the big one here, they do all the brewery stuff, but also distilling. While the small, not so small house here is rather a visitor center. There's also a bar because they do public visits they do also a fest when we're not into COVID, but when it's regular times. So the distillery is located in 30 acres where they grow barley and wheat for their beers. They have 13 references of beer at the moment, and 5, and now 6 with this one, references in whiskey. All the single malt usually, and that was the main difficulty and point here, so far were single casks. So they were distilled, they were malted, distilled, brewed, distilled, and matured and bottled on site. But usually there were only filling bottles that were single casks bottlings. What else? Globally, yeah, the marketing wise, the distillery, yes, they play the Viking influence chord, but it's not an invention, as Viking longships coming from Denmark, having sailing back to the river Seine, our famous river that crosses Paris also. And they were doing pillages for decades. And in 1841, yes, it's a long story. Orly, fun name. It's going to be hard for me to watch the chat, but I'll do my best during this early presentation. So basically, what's happened and is highlighted here, and I choose the picture here, which come from an old, and I forgot now. Sorry, guys, I have to. Yeah, I have memories issues. I have to tell you, since I had my problem of cerebrovascular accident, I'm afraid to say. What I was searching for, yeah, enluminure in French. Enluminure. So sometimes I forget things. Excuse me a second. Illumination, okay, or ornamentation, okay. Illumination or ornamentation, it's usually there's the picture and there's a lot of writing in medieval style around, so it's just a close-up detail of the picture. But for once, while usually they use other kinds of things, such as a nice standing stone, I wanted to make it a bit different. And I had a white card basically for the blending, and also for the text to put here and on the back label. So thanks a lot to Dominique Camus, who is the owner, head master brewer, master distiller. You will see him later on. Okay, I hope I didn't forget nothing. Distillation seasons, February and April. The warehouses, yes, I will speak about that later on. The distillation, this is very special. This is single distilled in an old Armagnac kind of pot still that dates from 1969. It was a single wandering still, and now it is on location and stable, if I may say, which was, they were producing Armagnac with it. I think it's all about, yeah, for the beers, they use 3 kinds of malt types or treatments. So for the one that's used here, it's the Pilsen, usually used for white beer, basically malted wheat. But it's barley, right? Strange. Anyway, as it's distillery yeast, it's changed the profile. So I have to tell you already that you're not gonna find any classic Scotch whiskey notes here for most of it. That's also why I didn't want to put any tasting notes on it, and I didn't want to also, I might not taste it and give you super precise note here, but I'm gonna be more I will explain a bit more now. Excuse me, and santé. Okay, so this is a Dominique, the master distiller and brewer. Where is the picture? I know there's a picture somewhere. These are boxes I made myself, so it's not really, I think I put one here symbolically. Yes, it's a picture. He wanted to do a selfie with me after the first blending session in, it was May 6th, when we were allowed to travel inside France. Yeah, we've been to curfew, lockdowns, etc. Lots of restrictions, which delayed a lot the release and even the production and the creation. So like I always say, many single malts, even the regular ones you can find in your supermarkets, big industrial ones, they're all blends. There's only the single casks that are not blends. When you speak of blending, not blending whiskey or blending malt, but just a blending, the process of blending. Most of the whiskeys out there are blended. People often forget that. This I have been with the cellar book with Dominique, the main, the owner and the main producer. We've been into the 3 warehouses. There's a 4th one in construction, but there are 2 dry warehouses, and there's 1 dump warehouse, which is it is not available to visit for the audience, the public, because it's a bit dangerous. It's there's a lot of moisture. The brick marches, steps are slippery, so it can be difficult. This is wet, this is very small, and this is very old, and there's not much light in it, so it's not made for the audience. But I had the privilege to go there and go with him, select casks. I did put already some pictures on social media, and I will put again others. This release, I can say it right now, will not going to be out before a few weeks, probably early December now, because it has to be, now they approved it only this week, mind you, even if initially it was meant to be out in June and July, but we had some issues, and also Dominique needed more staff to work on this, and also to restart the season that was a bit blocked for long months for his working on the brewery, so it was very difficult. Also, I have a slight issue with the first of three that was elected, but I will go into the blending process later on. So yeah, basically I had a few issues with the first selected batch. When I came back home, it was not easy when you're not there, and even there you have to wait a few weeks to see how the liquid evolves. So I had to restart the recipe from scratch, but fortunately I had the 10 samples that were pre-selected, so I could work on them. I'm going to show you a bit of more. So this is basically, I went there in May. We had a lot of discussion from 2019 to there. We have several projects together. This is only the first one. And basically we said, let's go for the easiest one in theory to do with all the restrictions we have. That's the single malt limited release, very special limited release, not really in the core range, but maybe something we can replicate a bit differently. There will be batch variations for sure. If this works, if this sells well, I will do others. Batch 2, this is batch 1. I will do batch 2 and we'll see how things go. For several reasons, this is limited to around, I don't have the exact number now, apologies, but it's around 900 to 1,000 maximum bottles, because we have only 5 casks, mind you. I was very hard on the selection. I had to discard 5 casks and to get only to 5 at the end. This is the 8th recipe for this, so it took a lot of work and time to get to there. Here's the recipe. Basically, there are 3 warehouses involved in there, cask from 3 warehouses. There is dry, I think it's there. There are dry warehouses as well as damp warehouses. There are 2, I will get into this. Let's see if you can, yeah. It's a bit difficult, my setup is too small. Apologies. So what did I do? I did, basically we went into this distillery and we just quickly labeled those kind of things. And then I did something more precise. So we did select cask first after the cellar book, then after a first trial of the samples there on one of the rooms. Bear in mind, they were not ready to have a blender, even if I'm an amateur one, and even if I've been trained by doing a lot of things home and speaking and trying things as professionals. They didn't have an equipment or anything related to that, except just one big pipette. We'll see in one of the pictures I will put on social media. So yeah, we had these instead of these to do the work, and not proper glasses, but never mind. I did manage to do 3 recipes there. Dominic selected the one he preferred, that was also mine, but I made him try it blind, so no bias. Then I went home with the recipe I made, not this one but another one, and basically I got all the cask here to play. And yeah, most important thing to say at this stage, the distillery uses only French oak, and French oak having held previously wine. And some of you may laugh at this stage because they know me. And if I was said that a few years ago, Greg, you're going to blend and only wine casks. Oh, no, never. Yes, I would never have done this. My position about wine cask did evolve. In the past, I've been coming across wine cask being used as hiding distillery character and harshly coming across as super winey, super acidulous, super something I don't like, really, even if it's big distilleries, whether it's an independent bottling or an official one. When this come across too hard, I don't like it, and still today. But my position evolved when I came across whiskies made by a French refiner, he calls himself, but it's a blender, coming from the wine industry, Émeric Roberel de Clemence, which I praised and awarded his whiskies earlier on in my videos. And his approach to wine finishes, or wine cask finishes, and even in amphoras, it impressed me so much that I said, okay, Greg, let's look at French whiskies with wine finishes a bit differently and more openly, and see if there's something interesting to find. And I did find some. That's how I got to buy as much as I could and try a bit more French whiskies. And now I'm happy to have 10 different distilleries, French distilleries in my collection. Half of them, let's say, using wine casks as finishes or full maturation. So this, in 2020, was a big turning point for me. And when I get back to the distillery, I had a more open-minded, let's say, approach about it. And I thought, yeah, Greg, don't discard those, and really be cautious how you use them, but also be open-minded to it. So that's it. Let's now get into the creation. For this creation, I used two different cask types. The two main casks, there's also another one that I didn't like. I know. Wasn't super pleasant to hear for the distiller, but they do also, and I have to check out again the translation because I never remember, I'm sorry. Yeah, beech tree. The distillery does uses two different types of oak and mainly do unpeated whiskies, but they have a reference that is smoky. But the smoke doesn't come from the peat, but from a beech tree. So they smoke the malt with beech trees that's burned. And so, but this one, I didn't want this for this specific release. I had some idea in mind. So I discarded it and only kept the unpeated, unsmoky casks, right? And among the 5 references, I picked those two. Those two are two of the main references. There are, like I said, 3 others of the distillery. The first one, the first one here definitely needs some other process. The first one here is the first whiskey they did in 1999, released in 2002. It's the Thor Boyo. French will understand, it's a play of word. For the English-speaking people, they won't get it, but never mind. Thor is the god, the Viking god, and Boyo, it's basically the guts. It's difficult play of word for for non-French people. So this is usually the main core range reference. This is a 42, if I'm not mistaken, 42 ABV version. This is using ex-red Bordeaux wine casks, French oak, of course, slightly toasted, and sometimes also shaved, but not really recharred. And this is 3 years old, and this is single cask. This natural color, non-chill filtered, and it's the core range. It's around 35 euros. Next is, so the second type of cask I use, and look at this color, amazing. This is the canning, and this is again a tribute to Viking culture. This one is 6 years old, and this one is the difference is in French regulations, you have the right to use something else than oak. So the other one was, this one was using oak wood. Well, this one is using acacia wood, so it's different. While the other one was using ex-red wine cask, this one is using ex-Sauterne cask, which are also from Bordeaux, mind you, but this is white sweet wine. So this is different. This one is bottled as 42.4. So these are the two whiskeys type cask I've used. I did 8 recipes. You have here some vestiges. R7 was almost the last one, and this one, finally, this was the one that I decided to valid as the final blend. This was, yeah, it's called blend, but it's a single malt. I did this fancy amateurish Normandy. This is the batch strength version, 56%. Why 56 and not 60 and over? Because one of the casks I selected was so beautiful for me that I kept it despite it was already reduced and almost ready for bottling for the canning version. So the ABV was quite low. But this at 56% is a killer for me. But it was difficult to release this. I'm as transparent as possible here. It was difficult to release this for more audience and for palatable experience. Also, there's already a cask strength version, which is a 53, which is a cask strength version of this, but it's called Brut de Fût, which in France means cask strength. This is, I'm not sure you're going to see it. This is the recipe of the final bottling. So this one, and yes, you can see some hazing phenomenon because it's non-chill filtered and non-colored and all that jazz. Yes, there's no age statement because I didn't want this to bear a 3 years old, which for French regulations, it has to be a 3 years old on the label, even if there are older content. And as there are older content in there, as I like to play, and some of my favorite whiskies are like that, different arrays of vintages and ages, if you prefer. So I picked whiskies from 3 to 9 years old, and I had even at final stage to discard a 10 years old cask because there was a note I didn't want to be there. So symbolically, I could have said, okay, it's a 3 to 10, but no, if it doesn't fit in what I want, I discard it, no matter the age, the prestige, and everything around. Composition of this is basically there's 24%. Where is it? Is it this one? No, let's say 82. No, it's this one. The older cask is a 9 years old. It's this one. And this one was unfortunately reduced at 42.9, but it was, so it's acacia oak wood, acacia wood, sorry, and it's ex-Sauterne. And this is 9 years old, cask number 7 from warehouse B. So you know it all. This one bears for 24 around. This approximative rated. So apologies if there's slight differences. So 24.4% of the final mix. Then we have 2013, so 8 years old. This is the cask 82 from Chez means warehouse, by the way. 82 from Chez warehouse B, which is dry as well. This is Bordeaux, ex-Bordeaux red wine, so it's oak cask. ABV 57.6, 6.5%. Whoops. Then we have 2014, which is, yeah, my favorite cask of the mix. And you might see it later on appear. Super spoiler, because I love this cask. This is 19, 7 ans d'âge. C'est un assemblage de 3 à 9 ans d'âge. So this is 7 years old, vintage 2014. Cask 19, warehouse A, so damp warehouse. Oak cask ex-Bordeaux red wine, 58% ABV. Full flavored. So you have 31% of this bomb in there. Then you have a 5 years old from vintage 2006, cask 25, also one of my very favorite casks. Here it is. This one is so warehouse A, damp warehouse, oak cask ex-Bordeaux red wine, 59.5 ABV, so cask strength, I forgot to say, except the first one, they're all cask strength. 28% 0.7. Where is the last one? Warehouse 1. Was it this one? I might not have much of it left. This is the one, yeah, the one I don't have it here. I'm sorry. So the last one is 2018. It's a 3 years old cask, warehouse C, dry warehouse, oak cask ex-Bordeaux wine. And this one was, the cask strength is 57.1 and there's only 8.8% in it. So basically, this is 31, 38. Well, around 60% of the content is over 7 years old, if I'm not mistaken. 35, yes, 50 to 60%, and 92% approximately is over 5 years old. 91%. So for me, this was interesting to work on this. So this is a back label. I managed to add a few English infos there, but it was way too much information explaining how this started with the idea of celebrating the foundation of the where is the English version? I'm sorry. The English version is explained there. So yeah, it's a blending of casks celebrating still single malt, the signature of the Treaty of Saint-Clair-sur-Epte, sealing the creation of the Duchy de Normandy, Duchy of Normandy in 911 and 911 year, between Charles III the Simple and Roland the Viking, chief of the Normans. So that's the scene that's depicted here on the label, which I liked a lot, and that's why. So this brought peace after all these pillages. This brought peace to the north of France, and I like the idea. And Cuvée 1110. Why Cuvée? Cuvée normally is used for wine, but I see it from time to time in the whiskey industry as well. Bruichladdich and other distilleries used it. Cuvée means what you get after a harvesting season for wine, and this is this end of harvesting season. You're gonna bottle, you're gonna use it for your release. But this was the idea of getting the best of what I could find and I have the time to find in the warehouses to release something for 2021. What did I forget to say? 2021. Yeah, 1110. Why did I choose this? We had a discussion with the staff, the distiller and several people there, and I asked them, what's the main event this year related to Normandy? And they said, well, there's the celebration of this signature of the treaty in 911 year. I said, oh, 911. We could use this date, but it doesn't come across well. Normandy is a region visited by a lot of veterans, American, English, Canadian, etc. veterans. I'm not going to use a number that will remind many of them of what happened in 2011. Very dramatic thing in the US. And also 9/11 is the emergency number in the United States. So it's not a positive, very positive number. Well, 1110, I don't know why. I found it interesting and nice sounding. And okay, so to put a long story short, we went to, I decided to use this name and to also do something a bit special, limited. I didn't thought it was limited so much before I tried all this. I tried to really discard every cask with a D4 or a note I simply didn't want. I wanted it to be very fragrant. I don't want to disclose all. I apologize for that because we're going to do tastings and things when it will be out. But for me, this is an unusual, maybe dividing profile. This doesn't come across again. I have to warn you, as a Scotch single malt. But there's such diversity now in French single malt category, with a lot of different kind of tastes. It reminds me of a specific style of whiskey, but I don't want to disclose it. I'm just doing a wink here to the continent I was picking before, just a few minutes before. And I'm happy that a famous figure of the whiskey industry, not only John Glaser, follows me on this creation and encourages me, and he's going to try it, but also other people might not want to disclose now, but some of you are aware of it. Famous people in the whiskey industry that are curious of what I do. I'm very honored about that. Okay, enough. So this is the color. So all natural, like I said. And it's been sitting now 40 minutes in the glass. Interesting. Ooh. So yeah, this is all I can say you. This is very powerful in very powerful. This is not the batch drink. Okay, so it has a lot of floral and fruity flavors on the front. And the wine doesn't come across as I thought it would be because of several aspects, in my opinion. It's still a mystery for me how these flavors comes across. My take is you get this kind of profile because of a collision of different things, which starts by the brewery yeast. Most of the distilleries, Scottish distilleries, they don't use brewery yeast. The distillery yeast, this is industrial dedicated yeast made for them. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it's different. The yield is higher than the brewery yeast, which is more fragile than the brewers use. For instance, for those who know Belgian oil, this is made with brewery yeast, while this one is made with distillery yeast. No, brewery yeast as well, where most of the Scottish one are made with distillery yeast. I hope this was clear. Also, the fact that there is only one distillation, which is unusual. In pot still, which is cut on the top. I will show you at some point the picture. And the cask types, the oak and the acacia. The warehouses, I guess it's a general thing. Now, technically, I didn't want this to be too low in ABV to keep the kind of magic I found in the batch strength. So after several discussions, we decided we won't go under 48% ABV. It's natural color. It's non-chill filtered. I wrote non-chill filtered on the label. In fact, it's almost unfiltered. So it's just a slight filtering to remove the bits, but there's no bits. Okay, cheers, go Habs. Thanks for passing by, and same for, it's almost finished. Same for Frederick. Yeah, so very fragrant, floral. It's, so for those who like, I see the legs are sticking to the glass before getting down. So it's quite a, it's too bad you can't see it. I have to buy another camera. See, it shows a bit. It's still sticking and descending slowly. So this is the sign here of almost no filtering. So this very fat, even if it's a light, I want it to be light, elegant, and a bit complex. The only thing I wrote here, you might be disappointed, is elegant and complex in French. I didn't want to write any tasting notes. Tasting notes are very personal. I can disclose mine, of course, when everyone will be having the occasion to try it. So I want it to be a dialogue and not tell you mandatory you have to find those notes and those notes. Just my choice. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna try it just for... It's different. It's something different. But I'm happy I had this opportunity. And I will get back to you when we'll be maybe tasting this at some point live together. I'm not sure I can do a live from the distillery because it's very remote, and I'm not sure there's a relay in powerful enough Wi-Fi and stuff. If there's a possibility, I will see with Dominique. I will try, but I can promise you. Also, if he wants to come here for a live show, it will be better at the distillery for sure. We'll see what we can do. If we have questions, I don't have the answer to all the questions. For instance, the broker and wine companies that provide the casks, wine casks, do not disclose the number of fills. It's a pity, but it's like that. So I cannot disclose as much as I want to disclose everything. They don't disclose the number of fills. Even Dominique's not sure of if it's first or second fill for the cask I've used. I'm sorry, so I cannot go over. I did bomb him with a lot of questions. It was not used to be asked. What is made, how this is made, how long, how this, how that. He was very kind to answer to a lot of questions I asked, but yeah, for now, I think I gave you a lot of information. And again, if I can answer your question, I will answer you back. The release will not be coming before December, I think, or late November. The price point was a big question. I was afraid it will be too expensive. It will come across in the range as on the up range. If I see the price of the range, this is 33, 35. This is 62, 6 years old. The 75, I think, is the Cask Strength, which is 8 or over 8 years old. Basically, this one in Cask Strength. So this I thought was reasonable to give it a go as we change packaging, everything. People might be wondering what it is. 65 euros for this one. Export, I have no idea. They're not prepared for that, but I'm gonna help as much as possible to promote this and make the company, if possible, ship it abroad. I'm not sure now, it's too soon. It's the first bottle among one or two that's been labeled, and they're currently going to, now that I gave my green light and Dominique gave his green light as well, it's collaboration. They're gonna bottle it now, but it will take time. It's hand bottled, it's hand labeled, and I have also the brewery to run. Hot season now. So yeah, it's gonna be for in a few weeks now, and I hope it will be as much possible on sale where we can sell it. I will help for the promotion in France a bit, as much as I can. Like I said, it's not my regular job, not paid for it. To the first try, it was just a few bottles on the side and my name on the label. It's a first collaboration. Will change, of course, if things continue. The idle thing, it will be quit my job to work only on whiskey, but for now it's too soon. This is basically what I can say. I will also send some samples. Like I said, on social media, I cannot send to everyone, and I will partly use my own bottle payment in nature, as we say in French, to that. So please be comprehensive, understand that I cannot provide everything free for everyone. I don't want to sell them, that's for sure. I don't have the right to sell them anyway. But yeah, there's a few, very, very, very few bottles. I don't want to give names now. There's probably, except two from my family, 2 or 3. There are, I think, 3 or 4 bottles that are going to fly off abroad. That will be my share of bottles. One of those people who will receive a bottle, also to thank them for bottles I've received, so it's a fair deal. It was on the chat, Fred. You're gonna have one. And also, of course, my mentor in blending, John Glazer, is gonna have one. Don't remember the names of the others now. Sorry, but yeah, we'll be keeping in touch. You can find me here and on social media. And again, if you have questions, don't hesitate. Thanks for the 5 people that watched this. Yeah, I know it was unexpected. I didn't want to. I didn't want to do it on video because you see, 55. I was sure it will be 6 hours, 7 hours of uploading, and I'm tired of that. I don't want that. So I don't have the time. I have other things to do, and I haven't even did my lunch, believe me or not. Thanks a lot for your support, for those who did it, for those who support the channel anyway, and my approach of whiskey, and hope you like this, and see you soon. Bye-bye.